it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Reverend Wayne is a Doctor of Divinity, holistic health educator, applied kinesiologist, author, songwriter, recording artist, producer. He performs the Sunday service and the special music songs at many Unity and CSL churches in the USA and Canada. Please join with me and welcome Wayne Kiloi Powell.
Try this aloha thing one more time. Aloha. Aloha. What does that mean?
Hello.
Welcome. Everything.
Yes,
Hello,
but not
goodbye.
really.
Oh, Spirit.
To love is to be happy with.
Yes,
Hello, I love you. Goodbye, I love you.
all accounts.
Are you planted or what?
I'm going to bring my phone forward here. Yes. So alo is to share, and ha is the breath of God. So the breath of God is in our presence. Can be taken two ways. The breath of God is in our presence, which connects us, and the breath of God is in our presence. So now, I just want you to feather your heart open a little bit. I will try this one more time. Aloha. You feel that warm blanket over the whole room? Let's try it again. Aloha. All right, close your eyes and imagine that there's a rainbow connecting as you hear this horn to this room, to the Hawaiian Islands. Take a deep breath in from your crown center and think the word aloha. O mai kai ki mai luna mai e o na me hula noia o na mele ho mai e ho mai e ho mai e o mai kai ki mai luna mai e o na me hula noia o na mele e ho mai e ho mai, e ho mai e ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e o na me huna noea o na mele e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai Take a deep breath and feel all the colors of the rainbow landing in this room from Hawaii. All right, we can all go home. I want to thank everyone that has contributed to this amazing space and this frequency that we're all experiencing. From the band to the woman who did meditation this morning, and the introduction, the reader, all of them, and the humor that's happening in the room. It's just such an honor to be here and share in this amazing space. Yeah. So, how many of us can actually say the word Ho'oponopono? Wow! And what does that mean? See, every Hawaiian word has at least 12 meanings. At least. Actually, there's a dozen meanings on 3 different levels, if you really want to get into it. Yeah. So let's take the meaning from Hugh Lin. Ho'o. We all know who Dr. Hugh Lin is? Zero Limits. How many have read Zero Limits? Oh, good. Excellent. Well, I'll explain more about that in a minute, but here's his definition. Ho'o means to make, do, and create. And I've been trained to use it as like an invocation. If you want to draw in more peace, it would be ho'o malu. More love, ho'o aloha. To invoke, to create, to offer it into the space. Pono, he writes, means balance, goodness, correctness, and perfect order. Yeah. So Ho'oponopono, he writes, is a method of creating perfect order and balance to heal a situation, which is already stated this morning so beautifully. That's great. I'm glad a lot of you are having these experiences. Yeah. So that song I chose, You Are a Star, it points the way to this. It points the way to this, being primarily and immortally who we are before, during, and after coming into incarnation. So what's happening here in the body is a lot of programs are running. And the programs are fed by data. But the science of radical forgiveness is afoot, everyone. In fact, all the spiritual systems are coming upon this. The Hawaiians didn't have the only system. I'm hearing it in all spiritual systems these days. How to clean the memories, how to come away from the past and own who you are as this radiant light in the body. So this is the larger part of us. And this is the part of us we learn to invoke, to commune with, for what he calls the cleaning and clearing of the data. Now we're familiar with data because of computer terms, yeah? Yeah. Hard drives full of data, yes? We don't even know what's in there. How many gigabytes do you have that you're not aware of? More than you can possibly count. Yeah. So I like to use the computer as a metaphor because everyone relates to that. So the larger part of us is fully enlightened already. Nothing to do in there. It's done. So what's preventing us from being able to be this all the time? In a body.
Data.
Data. Data, data, data. You got that right. And the data runs the programs. Now we're familiar with programs because we each have a phone. And how many programs do we have in our phone? How many applications are in there? How many of the couple dozen do you actually use? Right? Oh, maybe I'll use that someday.
Yeah.
Keep filling it up. More applications, right? Well, this system is so simple if you look at it in this way. You delete the data, the program doesn't run. You delete the program and the data, there goes the application. Right off your phone. Right off your bio computer as well. And that's really simply what we're doing with self-identity. Yeah. It's not easy. Why is it not easy? It's simple, but not easy.
Because there's lots of programming, there's lots of crap.
She just won the lottery. Yeah, I like to say, clean the hell out of it. Right? Sure. She's right. And where does that come from?
Fear, self. Fear.
Fear is another program. But what's creating the fear.
Life experience
Is
outside.
life experience, yes, data comes from life experience. Very good. We have an experience and we log that in data. And if it's an experience we really didn't want, then we kind of like avoid all experiences that are similar to that. That's quite a limiting way to live, though, don't you think? Yeah. But with the new application called cleaning, whoa, we can clean the data that's in that experience, which didn't feel so good. I'm going to use a line here from Wayne Dyer. He's channeling me today. When you change the way you look at something, when you change the way you look at things, the thing you look at changes. Mm-hmm. Let's bring that in. Now let's change the word to person. Let's make it personal. When you change the way you look at a person, the person you're looking at changes. Breathe that in. What we're doing when we're breathing this in is we're making room in the hard drive, which is already overloaded with data. So the breath helps relax the biocomputer so you can receive this divine seed, which is going to grow into the cleaning. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's all say that together. When you change the way you look at a person, the person you look at changes. Now close your eyes and breathe that in. I'm sure we all have someone that can relate to that within us. So the Ho'oponopono process was designed to clean and clear mental data that is limiting you from your divinity running your life. And there are huge opportunities for synchronicity and serendipity in here. Once things are cleaned, there's an empty space where love can be itself, where this will fill. See, all the stories that we carry, they feel heavy because they have gravity. And that's why it's not easy to change the data. It's full of gravity. I mean, where would we be without gravity? So we tell the stories. Even if we don't share them with others, we tell them to ourselves over and over again. Whether it's a story about being small, why all the reasons why you can't accomplish your heart's desire and your dreams. Just looping in there, right? Or what somebody else thinks of you. That's a big one. Story, just looping, right? Well, and the idea of self-responsibility. When you claim full responsibility for all your programs that are running, such as your beliefs, your likes, your dislikes, your aversions, and your attractions, these are all programs. Everything you say and do is a program running. When you take full responsibility for them, then you can change the data. And the program will stop running. Let's breathe that in. This is why I made coming to this service mandatory for this afternoon. Because we're planting all the seeds of the protocol of self-ID Ho'oponopono this morning. Because these ideas, they're not foreign to you. I mean, you've come into this church, and this church is a vessel of light. In Hawaiian culture, when a child is born, it's taught that they're born with a perfect bowl of light. That's why we like to gaze into a baby's eyes. It reminds us of where we've come from. It's so innocent. And as the child grows, so the parable goes, and it runs into situations where it has no way to process them. And they were hurtful, it picks up a stone and puts it in its ball of light. So by the time we get to be adults, there's just these little shards that are left from this once fully glowing ball of light. So the whole Ho'oponopono process is learning how to process these undefined unforgivenesses. Back to the earth, and each time you forgive one, you return a stone to the earth. Because you've taken full responsibility for your participation in creating your own feelings. And the blame game completely shuts down. That program gets no more data. Let's breathe that in. When you stop feeding anything, it will die. And we feed things, every single thought we have. Isn't that kind of scary? We're not even aware of what we're feeding. Where do the thoughts come from? Programs. Supported by the data. It's so simple. Especially when you look at your computer. And when you look at your computer, you have a desktop. And here's free will. What am I going to pull up from the hard drive today? Let's see, if you want to work on this little creative thing, oh, return this email, this needs to be straightened out, whatever it is. But you're using probably 0.5% of what's in your hard drive. Which once again, we don't really know what's in there. We can't remember how it got in there or when it got in there. Yeah. So the child was taught that whenever it tired of, if it didn't clean its bowl of light, then eventually they would turn to stone. And the light would go out. But then they were also taught that at any time that they wanted to, they could huli ka'opu, which is turn the bowl over, and have all the stones released back to the earth. And once again, they would be able to swim with the sharks and fly with the birds. And that's the freedom that's available to us once we master this system of invoking our soul's light to do the cleaning, the erasing of data and the programs. Now, you probably never heard Ho'oponopono explained in this way, because this is my flavor. From working with people and using the references, phones and computers, things that we relate to all day. And, you know, what's so interesting is already stated this morning, that when you're cleaning, when you're not even having an issue, and you continue cleaning, just to keep yourself, your bowl radiant, right? When an issue occurs, it doesn't put a stone in your bowl. And that's quite surprising. It'll fall to the earth as it tries to enter your aura. And you'll go, whoa, it didn't even bother me. What's going on here? Yeah. It's beautiful. So that's what we're reaching for. So everything you do, you say, you feel, are programs running from data stored in memories. So the data is forming your experience. And if you don't want that experience, you stop yourself, observe. I call it going vertical. from this part of you can observe. I mean, who is the witness of us? Who's witness us being aware?
Us.
Capital U. Capital U. Yeah. It's funny when you take, this is like an old, like the old keys from the 1800s, right? That unlock the doors, right? And I love this icon. I mean, if you go online and you Google images for I Am Presence, you'll find at least 50 different artists that have done different renditions of this. Yeah. This one is from the Saint Germain Foundation. And I get them in Mount Shasta because they're laminated and I can carry them in a tube. But for me, it really gives us a strong visual of what lives above and within us. And just remembering this, to go vertical and use your breath for the cleaning is amazing, amazing. The freedom that can be offered to you. We all carry things that are difficult to forgive. That's why I often refer to what we don't even know there is to forgive as the undefined unforgivenesses, which can move through lifetimes, actually. That's where phobias come from. So where did this all begin, this process? Let's go to the source. Morna Simeona, female kahuna, who saw in the 80s that a lot of the Hawaiian families, the large Hawaiian families, average Hawaiian family was minimum 12 to 20. Yeah. I have a Hawaiian friend that had 5 brothers and sisters and like 47 cousins. Yeah. So they would all meet in the family room before bedtime. And they would do traditional ho'oponopono in a circle, where there's one executor, an elder usually, and then each person would say what was great about their day and also what didn't work if they had a grievance with someone in the family, which is quite common. You got a family that big, chances are, things are going to happen. And they would clear their conscience before going to bed every night. They would not carry that into dream time. So when Morna saw that, the foreigners, the haulis, coming from Australia and Europe, and North America, coming to Hawaii, marrying the Hawaiians, and taking them back home with them. So the family circles would become smaller and smaller and smaller. And Morna was really concerned they wouldn't have this process and their lives would become chaotic. So she prayed, and she was given the system of self-identity, ho'oponopono, how to do that circle in the privacy of your own temple, in your own home. And so she internalized the traditional system to give us something we can use today. And miracles, as she taught, started happening everywhere. She was known for the miracles. And she had prayers, and there are prayers, I have them in my book. Prayers that really assist opening this channel and invoking your soul's light to do the work for us. Yeah. So Morna was teaching this in weekend workshops, Friday through Sunday. E. Haleakala Hugh Lin was given the prompting to go take the workshop. So the first weekend, the concepts were so foreign to him that he couldn't make it even through the first day and bolted. This happened 3 times. Paid in full each time. The second time he made it through one day. And the third time he finally made it through the weekend. His subconscious biocomputer was really resistant to the protocols that she was teaching us, right? So finally he made it through. And then he started this experiment in the hospital in Honolulu. How many have not heard this story? Okay, then it's worthy to hear it now. We won't have to do it this afternoon. There's a hospital in Honolulu, there was a wing of maximum security prisoners. It's a true story, documented by the government. So after he learned the system from Morna, he thought, well, I'm going to take this for a test drive. And he got wind of this job in this hospital. So he went to apply. And he had heard before he came that there were so many psychologists that didn't even make it to 2 weeks in the gig because the hostility in the wing was so intense. The prisoners were in shackles. The paint wouldn't stick to the walls. The plants were dying. The plumbing wouldn't work. And no one in the hospital wanted to work in that way. And when one of the prisoners had to go to court, everybody kind of like backed away, because they could feel the energy. So he goes for the interview and he says, hey, look, I'll take this gig, but I hear you're having a hard time with this, so it's on my terms. And I go, well, what's that? He says, well, I'm only working from breakfast to lunch, 5 days a week. I went, okay, no problem. What else? He goes, well, I'm not going to counsel any of the prisoners. But that's what we're hiring you for. Sorry, take it or leave it. I've got this idea of how to do this, and I'm just going to do it my way, or I'm out of here. And I thought, well, they had no options left. They hired him. So he had this desk, and he had the files of the prisoners. And he would open the file and read everything the court had stated about the victims, about the attorneys, everything that they had said, and everything that they were sentenced to be. They were kind of like throwaways of society. And they were quite dangerous, so they would have been in shackles. Not only so they wouldn't hurt others, but so they wouldn't hurt themselves as well. I mean, this was a pretty hostile environment. So after a while, he's there for a while, and he's cleaning everything he's reading in their file. One prisoner at a time. Cleaning all his thoughts about what he's reading. Just erasing every thought that comes up that he's reading. Well, what happened was, he was erasing that for all of society. Because they had been thrown away. Those files, no one looks at those files. There was a program that had them locked with gravity into that situation. So as he brought his soul's light into his own mind, which is a one mind through the light, and erased, things started to be lifted. And soon the prisoners were coming out of shackles. The whole process for him took a little over 3 years. And 30 out of 32 prisoners were released back into society. Yeah, true story. From the system I'm sharing with you. That's why I have such a passionate desire to keep sharing it. And I'll tell you another story later about when I took it for a test drive. Otherwise, we might be here a little too long for this part of our presentation. So he says, if you can see it in another, you have it. So if you erase it, then it erases it for the other, just like the Wayne Dyer statement. He's changing what he's perceiving.
Excuse me. But then if you can't see it in someone else, how can you erase it from society?
Well, whatever you're perceiving, no thought leaves its source. breathe that in. No thought leaves its source. So whatever you're perceiving, you can clean. Ramana Maharshi put it this way. He was asked, a famous Indian mystic, how are we supposed to treat others? And he replied, there are no others. Let's bring that in. So no thought leaves its source. This is what full responsibility looks like. Every single thought we have belongs to us. So when someone comes and shares their story with you, it's now your story. And you can go to work cleaning it immediately. So through the spirit channel, distance, time doesn't exist. So when you hear about an atrocity somewhere in the world, you go to work. Everything, because it's your story now. It's your tornado. It's your hurricane. It's your flood. It's your family. As soon as you hear it, that's why it kind of hurts when you perceive it. It's like, oh, because we're all connected. So how can we do this? The only way we can help is to own everything we perceive and bring light to it. And that's why I'm voting for Marianne Williamson for president. She's been teaching this stuff for decades. And our country needs a mother, you know. It almost brings me to tears to think about the issues that she's offering, you know, in our face, what's really going on. And it's a lot of opportunity for cleaning. That's why I bring it up. You witness an accident, you start cleaning. Someone tells me on the phone, this morning there was a young man coming to train with me here who had surgery about 3 months ago. And he was doing really well in recovery. He took the first plane from Switzerland, and in his first connection, he had so much pain, he couldn't get on the second plane. And I got a voice message before I came to church that he wasn't coming. And because I had been cleaning all morning, preparing for you guys, I didn't feel it in here. And I just kept cleaning and sending that to him. So everything you perceive can be cleaned. Yeah. Yeah. So, do we have time for an experience?
Yes.
All right. Oh, another thing I must share with you that Hugh Lin likes to say. Have you ever noticed that when you have a problem, you're there? Whose problem is it? I think it's a problem with The problem is you, or you wouldn't have it. That's why you say you have a problem. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's center ourselves and start breathing vertically. Now I want you to imagine, before you close your eyes, I want you to imagine just 14 feet above you and connect with the light of your soul as you breathe in. Now, we have 7 chakras. The 7th chakra you can touch. But the 8th chakra is 6 inches above that. And this is our halo. And this is the mouth of God. Where the soul comes in and the soul leaves is the 8th chakra. The 9th we have no comprehension of. But the 8th we can focus on. As you close your eyes and breathe, focus on your 8th chakra, light it up, pull the light down from within you. Use your breath. Breath is very important to move light. breath and light is your first aid kit. Now I want you to feel this light coming into your body. Imagine it as little sparklets, little tiny sparks of cosmic yum-yum. The stuff that makes the Milky Way, creates everything in existence. And yet, let's have it be a feeling. Have your body, all the cells in your body receive as you breathe the light into them. They love this light. It keeps you alive and healthy. And now in this state of radiance, I want you to make this declaration with me. Call response. Take a deep breath. I love myself deeply.
I love myself deeply.
Now breathe that in as light. I love all of me completely.
I love all of me completely.
Let's breathe that in. I forgive myself for everything.
I forgive myself for everything.
Breathe that in. This spans all lifetimes. Let's do that one again. I forgive myself for everything.
I forgive myself for everything.
I forgive all others for everything.
I forgive all others for everything.
That one may be a little harder for you, but allow it to come in. Let's do that one again. I forgive all others for everything. Their self-responsibility. Yes. One more time. I forgive all others for everything. I trust and surrender to the light of my soul.
I trust and surrender to the light of my soul.
To guide me, protect me, and heal me.
To guide me, protect me, and heal me.
Breathe in. Let's try that one again. I surrender to the light of my soul.
To the light of my soul.
To guide me, protect me, and heal me.
To guide me, protect me, and heal me.
Let's breathe that in, nice and deep. You should feel your body tingling as it becomes radiant.
Mhm.
And the last line is, thank you, God, for this blessing.
Thank you, God, for this blessing.
Now know that you're speaking to yourself as your I am presence when you say that line of gratitude. Thank you, God, for this blessing.
Thank you, God, for this blessing.
Now just take an accounting of your body now. You should feel a little bit of tingling. You should still have some happy cells here.
It's all that deep breathing.
It'll get you every time. Very good. Is this coming through? Okay, while you're in this state, I'm going to sing you a pretty song and ask you to join in at the end. The song is called Forgive the Past. It's a prayer song. I wrote it for the mother of my children, but she was having a really, really hard time from experiencing the trauma of her birth family. But it relates to all of us as we experience trauma. Dry your eyes, pretty lady. You're growing through the rain, it's making you strong. Let's give our hearts and to the comfort of the one. Forgive the past, let it go and last. And tomorrow's another day. I know we'll find a way to live our lives again, start anew. Love our boys, 'cause we believe in you. Boys will be boys, don't let it make you blue. Fall in love with your life again. Know you've got a friend who loves you true. Tomorrow's another day. I know we'll find a way to live our lives again, start anew. Forgive the world and your family. Letting go truly sets us free. Trust yourself and believe in love. The pain you feel can always bring you home. And today's a brand new day. Now we found a way to live our lives again, start anew. Let's dry our eyes, pretty lady. It's made us so strong. Let's give our hearts into the care of the one. Forgive the past, let it go and last. Let's try that. Forgive the past, let it go and last. It's a prayer, send it out. Forgive the past, let it go and last. Forgive the past, let it go and last. Loosen the roots of all those stories. Forgive the past, let it go and last. Keep this part going. I'm going to sing a counterpart. Forgive the past, let it go and last. Forgive the past, let it go and last. To the love we forgive the past, let it go and last. To forgive the past, let it go and last. Forgive the past, let it go and last. To the love, forgive the past, let it go and last. Change it up now, here we go. I am sorry, please forgive I'm sorry. Send it out. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. One more time. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Reach up to your high self and sing it one more time. Thank you. I love you.
Let's do that.
Receiving my blessings through lessons and strife. With wisdom from the water, I'll fly as a dove. Bringing you the song of the wind for your love.